Hey guys, so today I'll be reading a creepypasta that I wrote. It's my own creepypasta. It's an American Girl doll creepypasta. So this is the first creepypasta I've ever made, and it took me a long time to make this, so please no hating and enjoy the video. Okay. We all have a little girly side in us, a side that likes to wear makeup and play dress up, and most importantly, play with dolls. When I was a child, I always showed that girly side because I loved it. But now I'm a 34-year-old mother with a young 7-year-old girl named Diana. My name is Evelyn Ross, and I am a single mom. My 7-year-old daughter loves dolls, but I don't. Not after what happened that day. June 16, 1987. We were packing up for a trip to the American Girl factory. It was summer vacation, and Diana had begged me to let us go to the American Girl factory. I finally gave up and agreed. There was no use in arguing with her. Once we were on the road, Diana couldn't and wouldn't stop talking about how excited she was to see the American Girl dolls. Once we made it, we made reservations at a hotel across the street. I told Diana we would go there tomorrow morning after we ate breakfast. Diana looked disappointed, but agreed. The next morning, Diana shook me awake. We got dressed and headed to the cafe. Diana literally pulled me out of the door once we were done eating. We walked across the street to the factory, and Diana burst through the doors like a mad child, but calmed down once I walked in. The factory was filled with doll clothes, shoes, doll wigs, and everything a girl could ask for. A man kindly walked up to us and asked us if we wanted a tour. I agreed, and me and Diana walked with the man. "My name is Jake," he said, "and I'll be your tour guide today." He explained the history of these dolls and how they're created. I was picking up everything he said until I saw a door. A very strange one. It said, "Do not enter. Testing room." It was probably where they tested out the doll's covering to make sure it's not flammable. But then again, they're made out of the same materials, so they shouldn't have to test it. Thoughts were swirling around in my head until I finally decided to ask him about it. "Sir," I asked. "What is that door for over there?" I asked, pointing at the door. He looked confused at first, but went pale, like he'd just seen a ghost. "Don't worry about it, ma'am," he stuttered, and continued on. When we moved on to the next exhibit, I stayed behind and pressed my ear to the door. All I heard was a slight whirring sound. I listened and listened, but heard nothing. When I was about to give up, I heard sobbing. It was loud and painful, like it was a little girl. It was joined by more sobs, and then I heard mumbling. It sounded like, "No, please, I don't want to die," and "Help us! Mommy, please help me, I need you. We're too young to die." I was horrified. What was going on? Then I heard insane laughter. Come on, don't you lovely girls want to be pretty?" Then I heard the whirring again, but it was way louder, followed by blood-curdling screams. Then it went silent. I heard a smushing sound, followed by the crackling of bones. I didn't want to know what that was on the other side, until I leaned too much upon the door and fell inside. I looked up and saw a guy with a surgical mask on. He was holding a chainsaw, and he was covered in blood. He was squatting next to a few girls. They weren't, however, alive. They were dead, massacred alive. He stood up, and I saw something in his hand that made me scared out of my mind. He was holding bones in his hand. Human bones. All of a sudden, I felt a sharp pain in my head, and I blacked out. I woke up in a cold room, chained to a chair. Blood was dripping down my head, spilling on my shirt. I looked up, and what I saw made me sick to my stomach. I was in a bloody room, with bones and intestines scattered across the floor. I looked at the ceiling, and I screamed my head off. There were a bunch of little massacred girls hanging on the ceiling. Their stomachs were gutted out, and eyeballs too, and their intestines were wrapped around their neck like rope. I was about to scream for help until someone came in. "Well, look what we have here," he said darkly. "Another test subject." "What are you doing? What is wrong with you people?" I screamed, demanding to know what was going on. "Nothing, my dear. Now I bet you're wondering why we do these things to these girls. Am I right?" I nodded my head in approval. He explained that little girls have always wanted playmates, that they could have fun with and play together all the time. So they decided to give the girls their wish and give them a live playmate, an American Girl doll. "Now, you will be our greatest accomplishment yet," he said, and swung a whirring chainsaw at me. But he missed and hit the chains and freed me. I pushed him out of the way and opened up a doorway. Once I opened it, I was horrified. There were American Girl dolls scattered everywhere, with no eyes and bloody stitches across their bodies. I kept running and running until I reached the exit. I opened it and I ran out, and I was outside again. I saw Diana and she ran up and hugged me tightly, crying painfully. I held her close and told her it was going to be okay. She looked at me and said, "Mommy, those girls." I froze with fear. They turned them into this, she continued, and grabbed her American Girl doll. She twisted its head off, and inside there were bones and intestines shoved in there. And since then, Diana hasn't played with any of her dolls, and I'm glad. Thank you guys so much for listening to this creepypasta that I wrote, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please comment down below and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.